Swift.
Finally, that innings comes to an end. 266 then is what India have managed after winning the toss, batting first in their opening Asia Cup encounter. But wickets at the top and the tail that put an end to the innings just short of the 50th over. But what could be a match-winning or at least reputation-saving partnership with some resilience from Ishan, Kishan and Hardik Pandya, a partnership of 138. So Kishan out of position and that middle order question. That was good for India. The top and tail wasn't. So we look back at an innings where the Pakistan seamers picked up all the 10 wickets between them on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Matchday, powered by JBL. We'll hear shortly from Urooj, Mumtaz and Robin Uthappa. Wasim, Jaffer before that in studio with me. Conflicted feelings with 266. At one stage 66 for 4, you thought, oh, this is going to be tough game. India could get bowled out. Partnership, then you think, oh, maybe they could get 300. They end with 266. So how are you feeling about this score?
I think it's a good total considering we lost the top 4 at 60 odd. So I think India will take it. India will be more happier side, even though when the partnership was going on it looked like they'll touch 300. But I think in the end India will be happy. They've got some total to bowl at. The rain has come in, but if the ball swing and seam and if we get past their top 3 or 4, it's a good total to have.
Yeah, let's not mention the rain factor here, because we believe as that innings came to an end, the rain returned in Palikile. We've already seen 2 interruptions, but they've not deprived us of any overs, which is amazing. Right, let's go to Robin Uthappa and ask him as well. Do you share Wasim's view, Robbie? All things considered, 266 is a score India would be happy with?
Well, at 230 odd, they would have given themselves a great chance to get a 300. So, but they would have always known at the back of the mind that either after the partnership of Ishan and Hardik, one of them would have to bat through. Unfortunately for them, it was a great slower ball from Shaheen Afridi to dismiss Hardik Pandya, and that kind of, when you lose back-to-back wickets in a situation like that, you kind of find yourself behind the 8 ball, and in doing so, 266 right now feels like, yeah, maybe you need to get off to a good start for you to be able to defend the score, because the batting that Pakistan possess is quite formidable. And with Iftikhar coming into form or scoring a massive 100 at number 6 in the last game, it seems like Pakistan have a slight advantage at this point in time.
Yeah, you could sense that. Wonder what Pakistan would make of it. We'll hear from Urooj in just a little while from now. But before that, let's talk about Shaheen Afridi. Robin Uthappa has brought it up, and we were mentioning the threat of Afridi, and we saw it almost instantly. There was a bit of an interruption. How much that helped Shaheen Afridi? Because his radar seemed to be just a bit off. And as soon as they came back after a break, he produced perhaps one of the balls of recent times to get Rohit Sharma. Wasim, you could take the Rohit wicket first and break that down. It was 4 for 35 is where he ended. We'll come to the 2 wickets towards the end in just a moment. But the damage he did at the top, especially the setup to Rohit Sharma.
Yeah, like you said, I think the first spell he was a little bit here and there, a little bit full. We know his strength is bringing the ball in, but to set up Rohit Sharma, I think before a couple of balls earlier he took the ball away, and then Rohit played just outside the line and to come in. I think that was a great setup and something which is not a strength of Shaheen Afridi. So I think that's a good deception to have. I mean, we know he can bring the ball in. He bowls that full fast Yorker. But to get somebody as good as Rohit out, even though I thought Rohit played the left armers a little bit better in that first half, but that delivery was special.
Anything at all that a batter can do with that, even if you're Rohit Sharma, anything that he could do, Robbie?
Well, he set him up exceptionally well. You saw those ones just pitching and leaving him, and then it actually caused Rohit to kind of open up a little bit. You could see his shoulders kind of opening up to set himself to play that away going delivery, and that just caused to his undoing, because that next one literally pitched on the exact same spot and came back in. If he was a little more closed in the sense where he was looking to play towards mid-off, he opened himself up to look to play more towards extra cover, and in doing so, found himself missing that ball. But what a delivery! As in, I almost said at the pre-show that his away going delivery is actually not that good. But he proved today that he actually has that right up his repertoire.
Okay, carry on with the Kohli ball, Robbie, and whether that is more credit to the bowler or perhaps more error on part of the batter?
You know, one got the feeling when you saw Virat bat where it felt like he was a little tight when he was batting. He didn't feel like it didn't feel like he was at his freest self. If I may say so. He seemed very tight in his arms when he was batting, and I felt that was more an error from Virat than a peach of a delivery from Shaheen Shah Afridi. Clearly, the pressure was put from both ends. Even at the other end, the fast bowler was bowling exceptionally well, getting the ball to curve back in beautifully, and then with the pressure from the other end, obviously, and the fact that the wicket was doing quite a bit. I was actually quite surprised when I saw the wicket, and I felt like both the teams actually wanted a bat first, because that was a very fresh wicket and seemed like there was enough. There was a lot happening off the wicket. You could see grass flying off the wicket every time the ball hit the seam, and I felt like, oh, was that the best choice, especially with overcast conditions there? But Virat's dismissal, I think, was more based on an error that Virat made than a great delivery from Shaheen Shah.
You felt like he had hit that crunching boundary of Naseem Shah, and like, oh, Kohli is underway, and we got the answer to whether Kohli is going to bat 4 or not. Big pressure game, ball doing something, walked out at 3. Do you agree with Robbie there that somewhere over there Kohli would be disappointed with the shot?
I think so. I think he tried to play down towards the third man or maybe to the left of the point to probably get off strike. I thought at that stage the ball stayed, it came a little bit like a tennis ball type, and obviously when wicket behaves like that, obviously your timing doesn't get it right, and that's the error which Robbie says. That was the error I thought he made. If he played a little bit straighter, he won't have got out. He just wanted to turn it around to the third man, get a single, and that's probably was his downfall. But yeah, I mean, he was pumped up, which is nothing strange. I mean, Kohli comes out, especially against Pakistan like that. He hits that crunching cover drive, and sometimes when you play a shot like that at the start of your innings, we personally as a batsman, we are actually scared because you don't want to hit too early, too good shots. Sometimes when you're scratching around, it's better. You concentrate much harder when it doesn't hit your middle too often. But when you play a shot like that, I was actually a little bit scared watching him because you don't want a good ball to take you out, and exactly that what happened. It wasn't a good ball, but error on Kohli's part.
What you have is good bowlers here. So that invariably increases the chance that the bowler will win those contests, and they kept winning it in the early parts of the innings. Let's try and break down the Shubman Gill innings. 10 of 32 seemed a serious examination. Why did it seem so hard for a player who's supposedly at the peak of his powers, Robin?
Well, I think he got into a shell. I think he recognized that the wicket was doing quite a bit and probably backed himself to kind of absorb all the pressure initially. And then as the wicket got easier, or he felt like he was more conditioned to the nature of the wicket, he would have taken the attack on or played his natural game a lot more. And also in a 50-over game, you generally tend to have a little bit more time, not a little bit more time, a lot more time than you actually imagine. So in that possibly was in his mind when he went out to bat, and he kind of recognized, okay, this wicket's doing quite a bit. And like Wasim bhai said, I think the ball was a little too paced. Some there's a little tennis bally bounce. Some went through. When you saw Virat Kohli play that shot through covers, you felt like, oh man, that ball went through nicely. So in that sense, he would have recognized that wicket was a little too paced. So he given himself a little bit more time and said, okay, the spinners are someone I can possibly take the attack to. So let me see off this new ball. Also because Rohit Sharma had gotten out, Virat Kohli had gotten out. So okay, let me absorb the pressure and then take the attack on once the spinners come on and make up for lost time.
Did you sense that in his first game against Pakistan, somewhere the occasion and the fact that he saw Rohit get a Jaffer and whatnot, just somewhere must have gotten to someone like Shubman?
I think so. He would have probably felt that he need to bat through or maybe bat time, and once the bowling gets changed, the spinners come on, he can probably get his acceleration going. But I thought the ball that he get out, I mean, I've seen that happen to Shubman Gill quite often. Somebody bowling at 145, 150, he just gets a little bit late coming down onto the front foot. I mean, exactly that's what happened there. I've seen him get out to Mitchell Starc as well, hitting it to the point in the air. And that's something he needs to work on. If somebody's bowling at early 140s, I think he's okay. But somebody who's opening the batting, obviously, he's going to face 145, 150 clicks. He just gets a little bit late coming on to that front foot. His back leg stays, pretty much on the back foot. His head That's what I think he needs to work on. But yeah, I mean, he was tested by a quality bowling attack on a challenging condition. That was about it, I would say.
Yeah, hard initiation to cricket against Pakistan for Shubman Gill. Before I go to the partnership that brought India back, let's just wrap up the fourth wicket that put them in trouble first, and that's Shreyas Iyer, Wasim. It's a funny one because for 9 balls or 8 balls, it looked like the best innings you've seen from an Indian batter in a long time. It was that good, and then it ended. Can you make sense of the Shreyas Iyer 14 of 9? Just unlucky with the wicket?
Yeah, I mean, he looked really good. He hit some, delightful shots, couple of delightful shots. And as soon as he came in, we saw Haris Rauf being introduced for that short delivery we talked about, and he was tested straight away. I mean, he really hit a good shot. The only mistake probably he did, he was, keeping the ball down. He should have tried to go over that fielder because there was only one fielder there. So yeah, I mean, I won't talk too much about it. I think just a mistake that he made is trying to keep it down rather than hitting it over, because there was nobody there. Otherwise, for the 9 balls, it looked like he wasn't away for long.
Yeah. I mean, I know what my detractors on social media would be saying. When Samson gets 14 of 9, you're like, oh, he doesn't get a cash in on his start. When Shreyas gets 14 of 9, you're like, oh, he got unlucky. So let me ask a man who's got some fans in Kerala now. Let's ask Robin Uthappa on whether that innings showed some promise and just didn't quite go through. Was it unlucky? What happened there?
Well, we all know that he's had an issue with the short ball, and it seems like he's begun to address it, because the shot that he played it pretty convincingly. It's just that the choice made between playing it down, playing it up could have been the difference between a 4 or a 6 and being out. And I think he's put in the work. So I think he shouldn't overthink it. None of us should overthink it. We've put our faith in Shreyas Iyer. I think let him have the run, and back him to go out there and perform to the best of his ability.
Okay, let's go to what went right for India after that. Ishan Kishan batting at number 5, you could say out of position and putting in considerable effort, 82 of 81, and leading that partnership along with Hardik Pandya. Let's start with Kishan. Wasim, thoughts on the innings and how he sort of built it? What stood out?
I mean, he batted really well. His timing from the get-go was spot on. 3 or 4 wickets down, he came in, and even to the ball he defended. I think he looked in very good position throughout his inning, and he took on the spinners. Not his strongest forte, but he milked the strikes really well. He played the spinners really well, played against the fast bowlers really well. And it's nice to see. He batted the position he's not used to, and that is a good thing. I mean, it's a good headache for the selectors or for the management when KL Rahul gets fit. But I think that was a very good inning. The only thing I would say is, his fitness-wise, he got out in the 38 over. If he had played for another 5-6 overs, India would have easily got into close to 300 runs. So that is something, and he made this mistake even in the West Indies series. He converted those 50s and couldn't convert into hundreds. He got 350s in that tour. And similar mistake he made, tried to went over the shot was on because the mid-on was inside. But that is something which you want from your top 4, top 5 to get hundreds, so India can get close to 300.
Yeah, I'm going to come to that, the fact that he looked like he really ran out of steam. But let me first go to the innings itself, Robbie, because you can understand from a player who's on the fringes, it's always difficult. You're now being played out of position. They are just warming the seat for KL Rahul once he's fit. You play an innings like that. Quite something.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the, I think, biggest plus points that Ishan Kishan has is when he plays good cricketing shots, when he looks to hold shape, he plays exceptionally well. But he also, one of his biggest strengths is to literally throw the kitchen sink at it, right? As in, he's got a lot of power, and he literally puts a lot of effort into the big shots that he plays. So when he plays good cricketing shots, and initially when you've seen him play, even say for Mumbai Indians, when he scored runs, he goes out and plays good cricketing shots, holds shape very well, and then as the innings proceeds, he starts playing those big shots very, very well. And that's exactly what he did today as well. Initially held shape, played good cricketing shots, rotated the strike well, and then his strength, especially against spinners. He likes to take on the spinners, and that's what he did. Put pressure back on the spinners, and you could see it in the spinners when they were bowling against him. You could see that they were not feeling completely comfortable against him, including Shadab and Nawaz. Both of them felt like they were a little at sea when they were bowling against him. And he took advantage of that. As every time the ball is slightly short, he rocked back and he hit it, pulled it in even straight down the ground, hit it to mid-wicket, He played in different areas and scored boundaries at will, and that's his strength. And I think that if he continues to do that, like Wasim Bhai said, I think it's a huge headache on the selectors' minds right now as to when KL Rahul's fit, what's going to happen.
The point Wasim makes, Rabi, about his dismissal, it seemed like he really did run out of steam. And for a player who's turned 25, he's a modern day player, he looks fit, certainly Instagram fit. But is there a concern that perhaps there's a little more work that needs to be done to play the long innings? I mean, this is where we put Kohli in a category of his own.
Listen, you said it, modern day cricketer. You got to understand that he's actually post-modern. Virat Kohli is the modern day cricketer. The Shubman Gills and the Ishan Kishans of the world, the Tilak Vermas of the world are all post-modern. So they've all played a lot of T20 cricket, not that much one-day cricket. So the fitness levels obviously are a little bit more demanding. But also you got to consider the fact that they're playing in Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka, is a country where it's known to be very hot and humid. So it kind of gasses you out a little bit. So that obviously had a factor as well. And I think that's an area of improvement for someone like Ishan, and he'll have to work on it because say he got his double 100 in Bangladesh, which was also trying conditions, but so it's about building up that fitness as well. So we don't know if it was a cramp or it was actually a niggle of sorts. We'll only know when he comes out to keep and how he looks while keeping. We'll understand the kind of, at least from outside, we'll understand the depth of what that injury possibly could be.
Yeah, well,
or if it isn't.
Let's hope. Yeah, let's hope he's actually okay to come out and keep, because India do not have an option, or at least an option that stands out for taking the gloves. The rules allow you to get a substitute keeper in, but Samson's not named in the main squad. So let's hope that Kishan gets out there straight away. Hardik Pandya, for that kind of innings, again under pressure, he got a pretty good 80 in the third ODI against the West Indies, but the gears of Hardik Pandya, Wasim, what sort of was special from what you've seen of him in this particular innings?
I mean, he batted beautifully. I mean, looked like the other Hardik Pandya we've seen. We've seen him in West Indies, scratching around for runs, and then he comes out today with pace on the ball, team under pressure, and brings out the best in Hardik Pandya, and that is nice to see. I mean, if he bats like that, he looks like one of the better players. And the kind of innings that he played under pressure, how he played spinners, how he played the fast bowlers, fantastic knock. I mean, it gave India something to bowl at. I mean, more than something to bowl at. And it's a good news. If he bowls as well, if he gives India 5-6 overs, picks up a couple of wickets, hopefully, nothing like that. I mean, fantastic. Nice to see him bat like that, in that rhythm and in that, fluency, which was missing. Nice to see.
Yeah, regardless of the result of this game, Robbie, the fact that India's supposed weak point, what happens after number 4, has put them in the game, I guess that augurs well for them. If Pandya bats this way, this team has a lot more to offer than even if the top 3 don't get a big score like they didn't today.
Yeah, and that innings had class written all over it. I think the fact that Hardik batted the way he batted gave Ishan the kind of confidence and the kind of surety that, okay, I have a senior pro batting with me, I just need to keep going. And just the control in which he executed his skills today was just phenomenal to watch. 138 runs in just 141 balls. A lot of singles there, a lot of boring cricket, which is nice to see. A lot of twos as well, so they put in the hard yards as well, and then 11 fours, 2 sixes. So they kept it busy. So it was nice to see, especially when you lose 4 wickets like that, and then 66 for 4 from that place to rotate the strike and get your twos and still get pepper in with the 4s and 6s is incredible news for India, and you want to make sure that continues as well. And when Hardik Pandya bats like this, it's very reassuring, knowing that he's probably got that captaincy mantle, and that's going to come on to him, and he's actually batted like a leader today, which is very nice.
Yeah, very good from Hardik Pandya. That partnership and that innings, though, came to an end through Ruff and then Shaheen Afridi. Hardik Pandya's wicket of Shaheen. Let's talk about Shaheen as a whole now. We saw one of the best balls you've seen to get Rohit Sharma, and he doubled the damage with the wicket of Kohli. The wicket of Hardik Pandya, Wasim, deceived completely again. Just high quality bowling, top and end of the innings, wasn't it?
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, he came in and bowled the first delivery. He didn't give him an insight to that. Straight away bowled right at the spot, deceived him with the first ball, and then obviously Hardik played into the hands. But the kind of deliveries, I mean, we've talked about that his middle overs is his weak point, but then he turned the game around in that over. a couple of wickets in that over and completely, I mean, India looked like getting 300 and then he changed the complexion of the game and that's what quality bowlers can do. You know, really good deception and very well executed as well.
Yeah, I mean, there are a number of opinions on Shaheen Afridi, Robbie, on whether he looks in the best sort of rhythm every game, game after game, but the way he did bowl today, we'll come to those spinners in a second. But yeah, let's talk about Shaheen Afridi as a whole. That is some package, isn't it, to have a bowler who does that with a new ball and just the mastery to get a wicket like Hardik Pandya at that stage. Pivotal, given that could be the difference of a few runs, couldn't it?
Absolutely. As when you look at it from the word go, right, initially when he bowled the new ball, you can feel that kind of exuberance where he wants to do a lot, and luckily for his sake, I think it was a blessing in disguise that he got a break and then was able to kind of calm his nerves down and really just go out there and execute his skills so well that he bowled a peach of a delivery to dismiss Rohit and then get Virat as well, and continued to bowl well in the middle overs today, and then that delivery to Hardik Pandya, the first ball in his last spell, just the fact that he bowled the last minute change of that slow ball, and that slow ball he was able to keep the ball on seam, which made Hardik feel like it's probably a pace on delivery. Only in the last second did he realize, oh man, he's halfway down the shot and he's realized, oh, the ball hasn't come to me, and he's trying to bail out of the shot. Unfortunately, just hit it to extra cover, simple catch, and it just goes to show the skills. We were talking about it before the game that his skills as far as the variations are concerned aren't great, but he's shown that he's putting work into that. I think the dismissal of Hardik is a testimony of it.
He follows that up with Jadeja too. That's the end of India's batting, effectively. I mean, there is Shardul, but that is such a key double strike.
There's 4 really big wickets. Rohit, Virat, Hardik and Jadeja. I mean, when the partnership was going on, those 2 wickets actually dented literally 20 to 30 runs for India.
Yeah, that's what it is to have a bowler like that, and we know he can tonk a few as well. Unfortunately, I can't call him a 3D player with some of the fielding that we saw, but that's not why he's in the team. So well done, Shaheen Shah Afridi. It's a potential player of the match effort from him. Quick word on the backup seamers. Naseem Shah was excellent. Figures didn't show it for a while because he just got a couple of wickets at the end. Haris Rauf with 3 as well. Robbie, just break that down. You can take Naseem, Wasim can take Haris. So Naseem Shah, gee, he can cause a problem or two too.
Yeah, as in just the way he bowls, the arm speed in which he delivers the ball, the fact that he can move the ball both ways, and with the new ball, he can be a very dangerous customer to kind of deal with, especially if there's overcast conditions or the swinging conditions. He can be more than a handful. And I thought he was very disciplined with the way he bowled. Yes, he bowled one off a little bit, went wide down the leg side, but besides that, I thought he was on point and was rewarded with wickets at the back end. They have a proper fast bowling attack. Every one above 145 clicks. That's gas all the way, man, when you're batting against a trio like that.
Yeah, there are a few wides, but he troubled Shubman Gill initially, Naseem, and 20 extras is actually the 3rd highest score after Jadeja, after Pandya and Kishan. So let's see how this game goes close. You can look at those aspects. Picked up his wickets at the end, but Haris Rauf, even if he was going for a few boundaries, Wasim, wickets of Shubman, Shreyas, and which is the Ishan Kishan. That is 3 big wickets on the day.
3 big wickets as well. Yeah, I mean, there was top quality bowling. He went for runs, but I think again he picked up wickets. All 3 fast bowlers picked up wickets. So goes on to show, like Robbie said, if you've got to face 3 bowlers like that who are totally different from each other, Naseem Shah, left-hander, Shaheen Shah was a left-hander, and then Haris, who comes in at 1 change and bowls at 150. It's a tough place to bat. I mean, when these 3 guys are coming at you, and he bowls really well. I mean, he set up Shreyas Iyer really well, and then the good thing about Haris Rauf is he's really quick in the air. I mean, all Pakistani bowlers are, but when you bowl that length at 150 plus, it's really hard, which he did to Shubman Gill. So you can sympathize to the batters a little bit when you got trying conditions and face these 3 guys. It's a tough challenge.
All right, it was so hard when they were bowling. Babar Azam would have hoped that he would have been able to bowl at least 40-50 overs between them, but he couldn't. But could he have bowled a few more overs of pace when that partnership between Kishan and Pandya was going? The spinners, Robbie, had a real off day. We spoke of Shadab and his poor record against India. Nawaz 2 none for 55, Agha Salman 2 none for 21. The spinners between them conceded about 130 runs, going at over 6 and over, no wickets. That period of play, sum that up as to why spin wasn't as effective as we might have thought.
Well, from what I've heard, Shadab Khan was a bowler who could bat in the past, but they have wanted him to focus a lot more on his batting, and I think we've seen the kind of impact that has had on his bowling. You can see that he's not very sure, and he's never been a prodigious spinner at the turner at the ball. Having said that, his accuracy is a little off. When you don't turn the ball very much, you want to be very, very accurate. Similarly with Nawaz as well, not someone who turns the ball a lot. So you have to be accurate. He's a very similar bowler to Jadeja as far as turn is concerned. Having said that, he doesn't have the pace that Jadeja has as a left-arm spinner to be accurate. And every time they were slightly short, because the likes of Ishan, Kishan and Hardik Pandya are used to playing a Jadeja in the nets and the pace of a Jadeja in the nets, suddenly it becomes a lot more easier to kind of go against bowlers who aren't very accurate. And that's exactly what happened. You felt like once the spinners came on, they were going to take the attack to them. Especially when you have a fast bowling attack like Pakistan do, then you know that they're going to see off the fast bowlers and they're going to play a little bit more aggressively against the spinners because they want to make up for lost time against the fast bowlers. And Aga Salman, as far as that is concerned, I think I was just an experiment tried for a few overs to kind of try and get Ishan out, but obviously that didn't work.
They were 4 down inside 15 overs, Wasim, and did Babar Azam miss a trick possibly by not going all out with at least one of his seamers, if not more, saving a lot of seam overs for the end?
Yeah, I think so. I think he missed a trick there. If he had brought in fast bowlers for probably 2 or 3 overs or rotated them at least from one end, he allowed the batters to settle in, get into that partnership. Obviously, both of them play spin decently. And Ishan Kishan obviously took Shadab on straight away. Shadab is one of the bowlers who, if he's happy when he bowls really well when he picks wickets in his first, second, third over. So Ishan actually played him really well, hit him a couple of boundaries in his first, second over. But yeah, I think Babar Azam actually missed a trick by not bowling fast bowler when the partnership was starting on, and then allowed them to settle down and play. Once you settle down, then the fast bowlers come in, it's not that difficult. So I think he missed a trick there.
All right, let's just go back to a point Robin Uthappa brought up a little earlier. Let's go a little more into detail in it about the decision to bat first, given weather was predicted and did come into play. We've heard time and time again that rain interruptions never help the batting side. Robbie, that you're still scratching your head about that one at half time?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, because we were doing the pre-show, I hadn't seen the wicket or what the surface looked like.
It's not a question of misfortune that we were doing the pre-show. Come on. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Carry on.
So, I beg your pardon. But having said that, the fact that the wicket seemed so fresh, suddenly you wondered if that was the best option to go with. Because you also want to give someone like a Bumrah as much of an advantage as you can give him, since he's coming back into international cricket, 50-over cricket after a pretty long break. So that Siraj also can be more than a handful on a fresh track as well. So I would have thought, perhaps batting second would have been an option, simply because also when you're batting second, if it's rain, then you have the DLS to kind of calculate stuff. And in Sri Lanka, when you bat second, history has shown that in Sri Lanka it gets better to bat on. And even this wicket right now today, it seems like it has gotten a lot better to bat on as time has gone by. Yes, it's still doing a bit, and I think the new ball will do a bit. But once that phase goes by, I think it'll get really nice to bat on, and there could be dew in the offing. And if there is dew in the offing, it'll affect the spinners. So how is India going to deal with that?
Yeah, we're going to come back to that chat perhaps once we know the result of this game, watch the second innings too in detail. But there's still a lot of rain coming down at Palikile, and we've already had 2 interruptions, so I think I can do the math, and at some point we will have a loss of overs. How does that affect the game, Wasim, potentially, if we get a shortened game?
I think obviously that will put Pakistan, it will benefit Pakistan a little bit more with DLS coming into effect. They'll obviously know the target, what they are doing. And like Robbie said,
with DLS, you never know, Wasim bhai. It actually have a positive impact on on India actually.
For all you know, yeah, it becomes a 6.5 an over game instead of a 5 over run an over
obviously,
game.
yeah, but like
knowing your target is what
knowing your target as well as if there is a due, the spinners won't have that much purchase, and the fast bowlers as well. I mean, once that new ball's off, the batting might become a little easier and might get a little tough. So it works both ways. And on top of that, I mean, when Bangladesh batted first on the same ground, obviously they scored 160. So that again comes down to why I am also surprised on a fresh pitch why you want to bat first. But
yeah, I mean,
obviously
we
they'll
can
have their
try and
reasons.
break down the reasons. There were some questions about the Indian batting that we weren't quite sure of the answers, but we've seen a good innings from Ishan and Hardik Pandya. Right, I think that's pretty much it. But before I leave, Wasim and Robin, I must ask them about what they made of an unlikely batting performance. Bumrah can bat, 16 or 14.
I like the approach. I like the approach from even Kuldeep. They wanted to get to 270. They didn't throw their wickets away. They lost few balls in the end, but I think that is a good approach. You don't want to, finish once you're 7 down. You don't want to finish the innings in the next 6, 7, 8 balls. They tried to take it to 270, which is a good effort.
I'm just quickly trying to see what his highest score is in ODI cricket, whether he's come anywhere near that. At 14 not out before this game, so that's his highest ODI score. There you go. Robin is working on his batting in his free time.
Listen, he's got a lot of pride when it comes to his batting. So does Kuldeep Yadav. Kuldeep actually puts in a lot of work with his batting. You can see the NCA, and a lot of these guys have spent a lot of time at the NCA as well. So when they're there, they're always focusing on their batting as well. And it's good to see that they understood that every run here is going to be crucial. So they put in the effort, put their head down, and try to score and play decent cricket. And you've seen, as if you've noticed, Bumrah, you'd have seen that there was a time he didn't look like a batter when he went out to bat. Now he doesn't look like a tail-ender or number 10, number 11. He feels like, okay, he can do something with the bat.
Okay.
And I think it has something to do with that 35-run over he got in England.
Yeah, I can imagine. All right, let's quickly have a word on India's bowling. They are technically a seamer plus. If you look at the way Pakistan had just 3 seamers and then 3 spin options, India have Hardik Pandya. Do you see him taking the new ball, which we have seen recently in the past? There's Bumrah and Siraj, but no Shami. You would have loved the 3-man pace attack to go all out here. So how do India manage their bowlers best? Because they have to make a game of this early, Wasim.
I think Bumrah and Siraj might start, and then Hardik might come in. And Hardik bowls well when he's got that, square leg, fine leg after the power play. He uses that short ball quite often. That's his go-to ball. So you might see him after the power play. So I think Bumrah and Siraj might start, and they've got a role to play.
All right, Robbie, very quickly, India's plans for you, and how do you see this game going, assuming it's a 50-over game and we get the full game?
The first 15 overs are crucial. When the game gets going, I think the first 15 overs will define which way the match is going. If India don't get early wickets, if they don't get Pakistan 3 or 4 down in those first 15 overs, I think India are going to be a little bit in trouble.
Wasim, Pakistan favourites then?
I think so. With the rain around, a little bit favourites, yes.
All right. We will have a chat with Robin Uthappa and Wasim Jaffer. Thank you very much, gents, at the end of this game. We'll hopefully get Urooj Mumtaz back as well, as we await the weather gods to be kind for us to get a result. Keep an eye out on ESPN Cricinfo. Download the app and you'll get updates from Palikele. We've got our people at the ground there. So we hope to have some cricket, because it's been plenty to discuss even in this first 48.5 overs in this India-Pakistan clash. Join us at the end of the game on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Matchday, powered by JBL.
Stunning looks, then swift.
Make sure you download the ESPN Cricinfo app to stay updated with the very latest from the world of cricket.